Your Comedy Minute Comedy Showcase.
Your Comedy Minute Comedy Showcase.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Jersey Shore, New Jersey, JoJo.
Hey, everybody. It's great to be here.
Great to have you here, JoJo.
Thank you much. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it. Well, let me introduce myself a little bit. My pronouns are he, him, because when everybody sees your show, they're going to say, JoJo, who's he? I never heard of him. So I grew up in a small town, real small town here in Jersey. We had zero population growth. Population never changed. The way we achieved that, every time a baby was born, some guy left town. So school I went to, naturally it was small, but yeah, I got picked on in kindergarten, trying to keep up with the nursery rhymes and the songs. And back then they didn't know what the condition was, but I was dyslexic. And, I'm the only one singing Old MacDonald Had a Farm, O-I-E-I-E. High school I went to was small. We had to combine classes. We had driver's ed and sex ed in the same car. Oh, hey, can you imagine that? Hey, Dad, can I borrow the car? Susie and I want to do our homework together. Then one day Susie had a baby and I left town.
Yeah.
So, those were the days being young. I was always in good shape, and I would always remember waking up in the middle of the night, going out, running through the streets. And I hated it when their husbands came home unexpectedly. So, I was in good enough shape. I danced for Chippendales. And then I got out of shape when I danced for Chips Ahoy. So, I got married. I was married and divorced after 70 years. 70. Well, actually, I count my time in dog years because she was a bitch.
I was about to say.
Oh, yeah.
10 years, that sounds about 10 years, right?
Oh, you got a dog?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep
You
going.
got a dog calculator? Because it seemed like an eternity for me.
All right.
So, but I got a different attitude towards her now. I got the same approach as if I see a picture of Rosie O'Donnell naked. No hard feelings.
Oh. Wow.
But, trying to get back in the dating scene, and it's kind of tough, but, I'm looking forward to the summer again. We got a nude beach here at the Jersey Shore that I went to last year, and I enjoyed myself. They voted me best dressed. So I met a woman, and, we were getting together, and, at the end of the day, she says to me, she gets dressed to go home. She says, "Oh, can you tell I'm not wearing a bra?" I says, "No, but your knees look swollen." So we dated for a little bit, and then, things got kind of vicious. I got to know her personality, with the arguments. I tried to be nice. I say to her, "Have a nice day. Don't tell me what to do. You're not my boss." And then, things got really vicious when she pulls out the sex card. "Oh, you never treat me right. You're even lousy in bed. You never could find my G-spot." "Oh, yeah, I found it. It's in your sister."
Good stuff, JoJo. Good stuff.
So, and then I realized that, she was in the military. And, when we broke up, I was a little upset, even though it was a rough relationship. But I did thank her for her cervix.
Okay, my friend, we got to move on. Thank you.
That's good.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
Great job. Great job. Thank you. Next up, she's a sexagenarian from New Jersey, who has performed all over the Mid-Atlantic. Please welcome Terry Ann Zander.
Thank,
Yeah, buddy.
thank you, Scott.
I don't
Thank
want to
you.
give it away, but I didn't know what sexagenarian was.
Oh, well, you had to look. Well, yeah,
I
many
did. I
people
had
have
to look it up because I'm
Yeah.
dumb as a bucket of rocks.
I get it. I get it. It's all good. It's all good. Well,
I
I'm here
wondered
to
if-
educate. I'll educate you.
I'm a sexagenarian too.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the club.
I am.
People get real excited about sexagenarians. You know, sex is
I
in the
did.
name after all, right?
I did.
And it's for anybody in their 60s, right? So now we know. If you're in
Yeah.
your 60s, you're a sexagenarian, which sounds fun, which sounds a lot of fun. But
I loved
anybody
it.
who's married or in their 60s knows that there is no more sex after 60. Who's kidding who here, right? Actually, sex stopped when the kids were born. That's just the way we roll. The way we roll. So I thank you for having me on the show, Scott. It's been a trip. I've seen a number of these over the time that you've done. You said you did like 600 of them, but I want to share with you today. It's the big start of the holiday weekend, right? But a lot of people call me the calendar girl, not because I'm a pinup, but because I'm very familiar with the national holidays. So I want to share with you today the national holidays. It is National Maritime Day. So for all of you storage, big container ship people, it's your day. It's also Road Trip Day, which is a big day for the AAA. It's Vanilla Pudding Day. Who doesn't love vanilla pudding? I prefer chocolate myself.
I do too.
Yeah, chocolate. But, that got ruined for me back in the day. Bill just ruined vanilla pudding, chocolate pudding, any kind of pudding for me. It's also Cooler Day, Solitaire Day. The card game, the one that you play by yourself. Solitaire Day, National Solitaire Day. It's also Craft Distillery Day, and lastly, it's known as Don't Fry Day. And I thought that had something to do with frying your food. It's talking about frying yourself. So make sure you wear sunscreen this holiday weekend. Don't fry yourself. Wear your SPF 30, 45, 70, whatever it takes to keep you safe and free of carcinogens. It's also something. I went to the doctor this morning. I got to share. I went to the doctor this morning for a follow-up. And she said, Terry Ann, start you on this resistance training. You have to work with some weights now. You've gotten your weight down, but you need to keep your bones intact. And so you need to do some resistance training. And I said, hey, I got an idea. Could I resist my husband when he attempts to have sex with me? Because that's about 270 pounds of pure, and I can resist it till the cows come home. I can get my everything in there, legs, arms. So I'm going to start my training this weekend. I think I'll be in good shape by June. So JoJo mentioned his pronouns. I'll share with you. Share with you mine. Mine are her, she, like the chocolate,
Right.
without the nuts. So that's a big thing for you to know about me. Pride Month is coming up soon. And I often I've been mistaken for a lesbian lately. People really think I might be a lesbian. And I say, what is it exactly what vibe am I giving off? Some people said it's the hair. I said, look, I haven't played softball since middle school. I've never driven a Subaru. And yeah, I can fix things around the house. Like I fixed the soap dispenser the other day. Now I can get my hand soap out real easy. And I can occasionally open a jar of pickles. But I'm telling you here, I'm making an announcement. I'm coming out on the comedy showcase, the Comedy Minute. I'm coming out saying I am not a lesbian. Not a lesbian.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to leave on that note, and I hope this goes far and wide. Follow me on Instagram, and you will see me recently using a dildo as part of my act. Check it out on Instagram. And thanks so much for having me.
I don't know what to say to that. From New Mexico, my buddy, Larry Haney.
Woo!
Is that okay, Larry? You told me how to say it. Should have done it longer?
No, it came out perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Almost as
Wonderful,
perfect.
wonderful, Larry. Nice to see you again.
It's great to see you as well. I hope my background's not too distracting.
It's wonderful.
It's it's wonderful. When I started doing stand up, I was at a coffee shop, and it actually started with prank phone calls. And so I back when I started doing it, we had phone books. You know, cell phones had just started coming out, but we
Right.
still were on the phone book era. And so in the phone book, you could get the first and last name, the address, and the phone number to whoever you're calling, right? So I look through, I find this lady's name, and I call her up. Well, unbeknownst to me, at the beginning of the phone call, I have about 2 or 3 people sitting there listening to me. By the middle of the phone call, I had about 30 kids sitting around me, all on the floor, eager listening, and I'm driving it home. So I call the lady up and I tell her, I'm like, "Hi, is this?" And I can say her name now because I guarantee she's dead. She was the sweetest old lady, but I guarantee she's dead. Her name was Catherine McCarty. And I call her up and I say, "Hi, is this Catherine McCarty?" And she said, "Yes, it is." And I said, "Is this Catherine McCarty that lives at 1562 Rosewood Street?" And she said, "Why, yes, it is, baby." And I said, "Okay, well, your dog has been coming over into my yard." And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry, baby. Since my husband's died, I haven't been able to get a leash on that dog or keep it in the fence, whatever." And I said, "Well, that is all well and good, and I understand completely. But if you don't get a handle on this dog's going to end up like your fucking husband. All right, it's gonna it's gonna go missing too. All right." Also, a thing that we used to do is we used to go around and absolutely destroy Christmas decorations. I'm not proud of it, but it is something that we did. We would go. At first, it started out with setting the reindeer up in a humping mounting position. Then it slowly turned into absolute criminal mischief, and I'm probably giving myself away here, but that's okay. We so one night we go out. We're terrorizing the town, destroying these Christmas decorations, and we passed by a girl that I had just broken up with's house, right? And so my buddy looks at me and he says, "Stop the car." So we stop the car, and he grabs a bag of an empty bag, a chip bag, and he leaves out of the car. And me and my other buddy look at each other and we're like, "What is he doing?" Right? So he comes back and he's all, "Drive, drive, drive, leave, go." And so I'm like, "Well, what did you do, Josh? What did you do?" And he's all, "You don't want to know, Larry." And I was all, "No, you tell me what you did right now." And he was all, "I shit in that bag and I smeared it all over her windshield, Larry." I said, what a nasty piece of shit you are, Josh. You should be absolutely ashamed." At the moment, it was hilarious. It was great. Also, whenever I was younger, I met this Italian girl. I went on a trip to New York City. And while I was in New York City, I stumbled upon this Italian girl, and me and her kind of started dating for the time that I was there. And she brings me over to her house that she's living at with her mother. And her mother decides that she's going to make spaghetti, right? Her mother is this Shrek like French woman with disgusting, greasy hair. She's a terrible representation of what her daughter will be. But anyway, I was there for the good time, not a long time, right? So she makes the spaghetti, and I start finding hairs in my spaghetti. I'm in mid conversation, and I find a long black hair in my spaghetti, and I thought to myself, "Well, this is fucking gross," right? And then I think, well, that's over. At least that's out of the way. So I keep eating my spaghetti, and I find another hair in my spaghetti. And I'm like, well, that's got to be absolute. This has got to be it, right? There can't be any more. A third hair finally did it. So I finally stop eating, and I start talking more than I'm eating, right? And so we get to the back room later on, and me and the girl, we start getting hot and heavy, and things start happening. And I pull her pants down, and I see this gigantic bush, right? And I'm gonna go down on her, but I see this gigantic bush, and so I pull her pants right back up, and I said, "I don't think I can eat any more of your mom's spaghetti." And so yeah, that'll be
Oh
my.
man, I got to stop you there, man. I was getting a little nauseous, Larry. All right,
Can you hear me?
our last comedian. She knows about tough crowds. She's a former high school teacher, a tennis coach, and a track coach. She started doing comedy about 2015, I think it is. And it's an honor to have Janet Regensburg. Janet Regensburg is here, everybody. Janet, it's nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Scott. And again, I apologize for being 2 minutes late. I was having trouble on my Chromebook. I'm not a great tech person, okay? I taught pure math for so many years. This tech stuff is always getting to me. I apologize, Larry, for the helicopter. I live in New Jersey on the river, and there's a lot of helicopters, and I should have shut my window. So apologies first. Scott, I have to say, if you were one of my students, you have the cutest smile that I would want you to sit up in the front of the room so that I would smile every day along with you. Okay?
Who, me?
Yes, Scott,
Oh,
you have an adorable smile.
There's something wrong with your camera.
And now, did you, were you a funny kid in high school?
Oh, I was class clown. Yeah, I was nuts.
I
That's
could
nuts.
tell.
Grab 'em.
I could tell, and you were relentless, like you were with me being 2 minutes late. And I shouldn't be late.
No, we're just getting started.
I'm always a stickler for promptness.
Yeah,
so,
we noticed.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll give you a little bit of my background since everybody did, tell a little bit about themselves. I am half British on my mom's side, and I'm German, Dutch, Irish, Slovak on my dad's side. And all that tells you is I don't tan. Now, I did teach for 30 years, and teaching high school kids, it's tough. It can get rowdy. Once in the middle of a lesson, a kid threw a bunch of coins up to the front of the classroom. I was so angry. I said, hey, I'm a professional. You have to treat me with respect. Now pick that up and put it in my tip jar. Now, I dreaded the parent-teacher conference. I would tell my students, if your parents don't come see me, you get extra credit.
Yeah.
I didn't want to meet their parents. I mean, some of them would overshare. I had one parent tell me that she and her husband recently divorced, and she was afraid of the impact it might have on her child in the future. I felt bad. I told her, you have nothing to worry about. That kid can't remember shit. Then I had a new teacher ask me, how do I handle discipline? I told her it's easy. In my classroom, I put all the good kids on the right side of the room and all the bad kids on the left. She says, is that so you can manage the troublemakers? I said, no, it's because I'm blind in my left eye. But I told her, be honest with the kids. They respect that. For example, a kid yelled out in my algebra class once, when am I ever going to use factoring a quadratic? I said, you never. And I think we baby kids today. I was teaching 25 years when my school adopted a program that allows kids who come late to school to eat breakfast in their first period class. That's not school, that's IHOP. The name of the program, Beyond the Bell. How innovative. So I started a program for teachers who came back late from lunch. I called it Beyond the Bar. Why not? Cheers. But, when you deal with kids, you have to have a lot of forgiveness because they don't think before they speak. I had one kid say, you remind me of my grandmother. I said, oh, how sweet. You remind me of that kid I failed last year. Now, I recently retired, Scott, and a lot of people ask me, what was it that drove me to retirement? And there's a few things. I said, I realized that their hormones were cranking up while mine was shutting down. Secondly, I realized I was beyond the point of impact when an 11th grader came up to me very seriously and asked me, does November always come before December? And I answered, most of the time. But I got to tell you, since I'm retired, I keep getting this nightmare that I'm back in my classroom teaching topless. The nightmare part, nobody noticed I was topless. But I got to tell you, I really miss teaching. I miss the fun I had with my kids in the classroom. We really had some fun times together. And I miss the wacky things that went on at work. Like the time right after the pandemic when everybody was freaking out and I had to run to the bathroom in between classes. As I'm coming out of the faculty bathroom, one of my colleagues is standing there and she's very astute. And she said to me, "There's no way you washed your hands to the alphabet." I said, "Oh no, I didn't have time for the entire alphabet. I only had time for A-E-I-O, fuck you." I'm Janet Regensburg. Thank you, Scott, for having me. I've had fun.